What's up, you guys? Casey here. I just want to talk about the ending of Red Dead Redemption 2. I literally, for the last week, I can't get the story's ending out of my head. I am left in mourn. I'm grieving. I feel anger. I feel sadness. I feel denial. The 5 or the 7 stages of grief. I'm definitely feeling that. I'm in such a sad and depressing mindset right now from the end of the story that it leaves me not being able to do anything really, like focusing on any work, like school or work itself. Like, it's just, I'm so sidetracked with how the story just captured me. And the thing is that I beat the main, not spoilers, okay, so do not watch this. Do not watch this if you have not beat the game, because we're talking about spoilers here, so. But I beat the main game on Sunday, and that's not including the epilogue. So I got to see Arthur die, and for me, I got the ending with I chose to help John back to his get back to his family. Of course, John Marston's one of my favorite protagonists ever in gaming, so of course I chose to help him. I didn't even see the point in going back for the money, for the first fact that Arthur, you know, there's a lot of foreshadowing that Arthur is going to die. And I didn't doubt that. So for me, it was like, if I go back for the money, I'm going to die. And it's not even going to really matter to spend it anyway. So what's the point? And on top of that, I don't think at this point in the game where Arthur's mindset is at, that he's even focused on getting that money anymore. It's more about making sure that he creates a future for at least someone, because he knows for himself that a future that he could have had is gone. So I chose the ending to, you know, you end up on the top of the mountain as a result, and then unfortunately Micah shot me in the face because my honor was a little over here. I mean, kind of over there, but it is what it is. What really got me is the ride, the horse ride that you have on your way back to the camp for the final mission, when you're going to confront Micah and reveal that he's the snake, that he's the one that was working with the Pinkertons, and Dutch is finally going to have to make a call on this. Rockstar chose to play an incredible song during the horse ride. That's the way it is. That really pulls at your strings it helps you come to the realization on the way to the camp that Arthur accepts the fact that ideology and this code that him, Dutch, and the whole gang that they operated under, it meant nothing. It's tarnished. It's not going to result in anything. There's the outcome that they wanted, to move out west or to go to the tropical islands of Tahiti, wherever that might have been. It's for nothing now, and he has to come to the realization that it's time to come forth with the truth, and that is that he's probably going to die. And during that horse ride, I mean, you're also getting little subconscious audio tracks of quotes from characters during the game that are that play into this whole theme and situation that Arthur's going through of betrayal and acceptance and moving forward and being left behind and all this stuff. And it's really just it's so powerful in the way that Rockstar orchestrated that and executed that it makes you feel tenfold even more. And then when you get to the camp and Dutch doesn't take your side, for me, when you're on the ground and Dutch is looking down at you, and Morgan's like, Arthur's like, Dutch, like, the fact that he's not, like, after all those years, he's not believing Arthur, everything he did being his right-hand man, that he's siding with the man that has only been with him for months, that he's not taking Arthur's side. It's just, you really feel for Arthur. And if you yourself have ever experienced betrayal like that, whether it's family, friends, or wherever it could be, I mean, it's only going to make you feel that much more, because you know where Arthur's coming from. I mean, Arthur's not just physically hurt in this, he's emotionally damaged. He's betrayed, and he's lost in the world. His purpose is unknown. I mean, the man on top of that has tuberculosis, so he already has a death sentence. He knows for a fact that he's going to die, and that even adds to more of the weight. There was no hope for Arthur. By mid chapter 6, you know that Arthur's done. The man is incredibly sick. He has a death sentence. His illness is not going. There's no cure. He's not going to get better. And the fact that it resulted from the Downs family, from him beating him, and Downs being sick and coughing and spitting on Arthur, which is what got him sick with tuberculosis, what contaminated him. Oh my! It's just everything that played into Arthur. You see him develop so much throughout the story. A man with a plan that followed blindlessly to a leader that is broken. A man that doesn't have a plan. He has no purpose. He doesn't know what he's doing. I beat the main story on Sunday, and then I finished up the epilogue on Wednesday. In between that 3 days, I was mourning just the story's ending itself. And once I concluded the epilogue the last night, so now it's Thursday, concluding that, oh my gosh. John Marston becoming the protagonist is incredibly fitting. It had to be done. I had thoughts of, well, if this game ends with, Arthur dying, they got to make John the main character. And for how much emphasis they put on John towards the end of the game with chapter 6 and foreshadowing the fact that he's going to run away with Abigail and Jack from the game, I came to that conclusion that most likely, John's going to be the one that's going to carry the torch and be our protagonist at the end of the game, which will directly lead into the original Red Dead Redemption. And they did that. It was beautiful. I love that the story carrying out the entire thing of John trying to go straight, working on a ranch, learning those skills, buying Beecher's Hope, building the house, building the barn, and getting Abigail and Jack to come back and forgive him, and then finding Charles and Sadie years later and rekindling your friendship with them. It was awesome. I mean, I cannot cover every single detail and basis that I want to, because I would be talking for an hour. But the epilogue is like pure fan service for true fans of Red Dead Redemption 1. When John pulls out the OG cowboy suit, the outfit that the main outfit that he wears in the original Red Dead Redemption game, the little tidbit from the soundtrack that they play. Oh my god, it was awesome. It was such a great moment. It was such fan service, and I thank Rockstar for putting that in. Then there's loads of others. I mean, the way that, and this goes back to the main game story, but when Jack first meets Ross, it's when he's fishing. And then just putting that moment in, and then foreshadowing the fact that, and then that leads to over a decade later, and it's Ross who's fishing. It's Ross who's fishing, and then it's Jack who shows up and kills him. There's so many moments, and I can't cover everything. This is just my short, sweet feelings about the ending. But the story ends. You get your vengeance. You get to kill Micah. That is extremely satisfying. Loading bullets into that man. But the saddest thing of all for me, and I think it's even more of a sad concept to grasp than Arthur's own death, is that what he did was kind of for nothing in essence, because Arthur gives his pouch, his satchel, or whatever you want to call it, to John. John gets his journal, and John gets his engagement ring that belonged to Arthur, that Arthur used to propose to Mary. So you find out that ring is what John uses to give to Abigail, and giving her that ring is symbolic of what Mary wanted Arthur Arthur to do with it. It was to give it to someone that had love, like, you know, eternal love, true love. And that was definitely true with John and Abigail. And I really like that was tied in. And on top of that, you get Arthur's journal, so you can still read back on all of his notes. And for me, I didn't read the journal once throughout the whole story. And then once I was John, I went back and I started reading most of his notes from chapter 6, and him accepting the fact that he has tuberculosis, and he assumes that it's from Downs, and how he's conflicted and lost. And I was like, I mean, you know, it was great. But it was extremely sad because Arthur does all this for John towards the end of the game to make sure that, you know, what his efforts and what he wants don't go to nothing. It's for him. And while that is great, we know that following Red Dead Redemption 2, which I believe the epilogue takes place 6-7 years after, so it's like 1906, maybe 1907, I'm not sure on that. From 1906, 1907 to 1911, John gets to enjoy the family rancher life that he had with Abigail and Jack. And I love that. The game truly ends with them being happy. They're newlywed, they're married. Charles went off up north to Canada, and Sadie went down to South America. They went to go live their lives. And John's happy. He's living the peaceful life that he that you know, that Abigail wanted, and that he eventually does want as well. But unfortunately, 1911, you know, a few years following that, Ross gets into the picture, and the government's using him to try and locate Bill, Javier, and Dutch. And you know how that goes. Eventually they, you know, backstab him, and John eventually does die. And it becomes the thing where, yes, John achieved what Arthur wanted him to do, which was escape that life, run away and live with his family. And he does, until his past cannot escape him. The demons come back and they capture John, and he dies. And the one person left from that to come out of the ashes, and that could have lived a real life out of all of this, was Jack. And we're not sure on how his story ends, but we know from the ending of Red Dead Redemption 1, the stranger mission, that you meet with when you kill Ross, that Jack essentially becomes an outlaw. And it's 1914 at that point, which is even worse. So without a doubt, I would assume Jack is going to be hunted down. What's up again, guys? Well, fast forward, it's a few hours later, but getting back to the discussion at hand, I do feel like Jack is destined to just be an outlaw, and it breaks that whole cycle. That it does not break the cycle that Arthur and John were trying to break. And unfortunately, that's the saddest part about the game. Everything is set up beautifully at the ending. You have a happy ending in essence after the epilogue for John, but you do know that it won't end nicely for him. And then the one hope that you have through Jack to be able to live their dream, it doesn't happen either. As far as we know, Jack could definitely end up being a scholar, a lawyer, whatever he may be or aspire to be may happen. But I just don't see that him killing Ross and getting away with it is going to happen. It's 1914. The World War I's about to emerge. Okay, new day. But back to the discussion. The FBI is emerging, and they're advancing and expanding. And so I really just doubt that Jack's going to get a happy ending to this. So yeah, overall, just Red Dead Redemption 2's ending sent me into a depressed spiral throughout the week. I can't get it off my mind. But in short, I love the game. Do I love it more than the first one? That's yet to be seen, but sorry about the stain here. But that's yet to be seen, so that's all I can say so far. But yeah, thanks for watching.